is the back end. What do we mean by back end? Well, it must be 2 weeks now that there hasn't been a tester stream. It must be. Um, so what we believe, what we've been told, is that they Fault Alpha is currently down, even for the testers, because there's a lot of back end processes coming online. So we just want to talk about what we think those could be and theorize about them, because we've gotten like a few teases here and there over the last few months, and it might be time for all these teases to maybe come into fruition. And that's what this backend stuff is, or it could be just as simple as I don't know, implementing a system to make skill-based matchmaking or whatever it might be.
I
So,
think it's definitely going to be like UI and like a lot of smoothing in the current gameplay.
mhm.
Because again, you got to think of what people are saying about the other Paragon remakes currently and the gripes they have with those. And one of them is just like it not feeling like a smooth game, and especially if you're going to have an early access come out and you want people kind of going for that maximum bundle. You want the game as smooth as possible, and you want it looking the absolute best, so people are more likely to support your version of the game.
well,
So I think more than anything, like it's to their benefit if they're actually going ahead and making sure things
yeah,
like that are kind of fleshed out.
yeah. Well, for anyone that was fortunate enough to play the Alpha 3 weekend, you would know that there was no exit out of game button, so you had to Alt F4. Uh, and you would know that the menu screen was, to be honest, it was pretty garbage. But it was just a temporary screen. That's what they've been saying. So I think, as Chandler said, I think this back end is going to be them bringing in a more professional screen. They've been gassing that they have a good UI for 2 months now. So it's time for them to put it in because EA is right around the corner now. We're down to 20 days or something, and yeah, it's just time. And I just think, as Chandler's saying, it's going to be so important because there are people out there that are literally saying, "I'm not going to play Fault because it looks bad." Um, well, here's Strange Matter's opportunity to say, actually, it's going to look pretty good. It's going to look the best out of all the
Yeah,
alpha
because I think at
games.
first, right now, they definitely, especially when it's alpha and you're constantly updating things, why would they have gone through so much extra effort on working about cosmetics
Hmm.
when, again, they just want to get game mechanics under control and sort of flesh that out first? So, it definitely, to me, it makes absolute most sense that right now, literally like weeks before they want early access to come out, is that's when they would finally decide to kind of make updates and changes on all that.
Hmm. It also just makes sense when you look at it. Uh, you got a set date now. It's crunch time, so they got to get some of their goals
Crunch.
done. Sorry. They got to get some of their goals done before EA comes out, or on the day of, at the very latest. And it's also like if you're gonna go dark, because they haven't went, because for the most part they've been pretty good with keeping everyone updated. This is the time to do it because in a sense it's only gonna build hype coming EA, or if they
Yeah.
have a dev stream scheduled a week before EA or whatever it may be. For everyone who doesn't know, early access is May 8th. I'm so excited, you have no idea. I'm literally like number one, it's COVID-19, so when I say I can play every day, all day, I mean it. And number two, I would probably make it happen anyways. I play 4 hours before I went to work, 4 hours after work, 4 hours after I'm done my schoolwork. People think I'm joking, but like I would do that. But now I don't have to do that. So I don't know. It's gonna be awesome. May 8th. It's on the way. I really think everyone should really consider buying it on Steam. They got these 3 Steam packages. But if for some reason you're unsure, just tune into a stream when early access drops and see what is happening, and join the Strange Matter Discord. They'll
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Definitely be an educated consumer. Like at the end of the day, just because we feel like this is going to be the most like
successful.
successful version of a Paragon remake, like you definitely you want to make sure that you do your research, and like just having more people looking into it and having these talks, like it benefits the developers too, because like they want to know what people actually want. Like that's the biggest thing I've noticed with Strange. Within 24 hours, it was changed. So I mean, that's the biggest thing. You need to, with this game, it's to our benefit being this early into it and seeing it through development and being able to talk with developers because nobody wants it to turn out like Paragon.
Hmm. That's true. No one wants this to a year down the road just fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
especially like with when it's your money on the line, like when it's your hard-earned money. It's not like the game, like obviously when it fully comes out, it's going to be free. But right now, it's early access. Like you're buying into something and you're supporting people based on a promise. So like,
mhm.
do your research, understand why they're doing things the way they are. Like, even though again, like from everything that I've seen, they're definitely doing it the smartest way possible. It's like do the research, see why they're doing it that way, see why like it's proven the way that they're doing it works. Because again, they're trying to make a sustainable game. They're not trying to make like something overnight and something that people can play now and forget about later.
Mhm.
Like this is supposed to be something that sticks around.
Number one, and then we have the unholy icon. Crunch time was March because the original day for early access was March. It might have been April, but or if it was April, it was like April 1st or whatever. But either way, March. So that's their deadline, and Unholy is a bit worried because Strange Matter they have missed some of their deadlines and they've been a bit exuberant, or what am I trying to say? They've been a bit too excited with their stuff. But the way I look at it, just to unholy and for everyone that's watching and listening in, uh, Final Fantasy VII was delayed too. The Final Fantasy VII remake. And why do companies delay games? Because they don't want to deliver a poor product. It's like they just don't want to do it. So if it means I have to wait an extra 2 months, however impatient I may be, but they're going to release a better game and more to do, I'll happily wait. I'll bite my tongue. I'll uh, play Valorant for the time being or whatever it may be. But I'll wait. That's my opinion on it. Of course, people have different opinions, and it's also one of those things like I always think new businesses, because if Strange Matter is a new business, they seem to always make their own goals a bit too early, if that makes sense, because everyone's really excited when you start a new business. But then you realize that it actually doesn't take 3 months to do this, it actually takes 6 months to do it. So, just little stuff like that. And I remember I've read like an audiobook about it because of my degree or whatever in university, and that's what I talked about. I can't remember exactly what the book's called, but that's what it's on. And yes, Steve, as you were saying, as you didn't say, but we're gonna say, sorry.
Well, I mean, you made a you made a you made a good point when it came to uh the idea of trying to deliver a better product. I mean, I'm always going to be a person that is advocating for um transparency and communication. Like,
Hmm.
if Strange Matter fucks something up or they make a promise and then they can't keep it, I'm more inclined to not jump ship if they're going to admit, yeah, we kind of messed up. This is why, but this is a bit more realistic.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, as Chandler brought up, we want to spend our money on a product that we aren't just going to get bored of or isn't something that we actually want. I mean, if they make a promise and then they tack on, a whole extra month or like 2 or 3 months, there's got to be a good reason for it, right? Um, I mean, I genuinely never actually thought that we would get some kind of replacement for Paragon. I always felt like, I don't think any company's actually going to go far enough to create a product that is reminiscent enough of Paragon that's going to make me actually want to play it. And everything I've been seeing with Fault reminds me of what Paragon kind of felt like in the beginning. It was something that was new, something that was still being created, something that, although it looks finished, I'm I myself, like, I'm a musician, I'm a creative person, and there have been a ton of things. Like there was an EP I made last year, and I listened to the whole thing, and I said, "No, this is fucking garbage." And I pretty much reimagined all 6 songs that were on it and re-put them out, changed up a lot of things, and I made a product that not only I liked a lot better, but I've gotten a lot of better feedback on that project specifically because I was honest and I took a little bit of extra time. Like, I now I might start getting to ranting about, I guess, I won't go too deep into like capitalist rhetoric, but I feel like it's extremely easy for people to be impatient when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I
Oh,
just want
this
you
is the
to
easiest son of my life.
like
Anything.
ask yourself something. Like think about a game that you bought that there was at least one or two red flags about it. They're like, I don't really like that, but it's not a huge part of the game. And then you bought it. It was like 20 or 30 bucks, and you played it for the first week. It's like, damn, this is like a really awesome, cool, fun game. But there was always that one thing that you wish was different. But this is like a final version of the game. It's something that can't really be changed with a patch. And then you find yourself sitting down and you're playing it and you say, wow, I'm really not enjoying this. And it's hard for me to not think about that anymore. So when it comes to a product that I've bought, I feel like buyer beware. You should be aware of what you're spending your money on. And no one's asking you or forcing you to spend your money before you actually need to. I think that's a power that sometimes people forget. But also at the same time, yeah, maybe if there's a lot of consistent delays, sometimes that really is better than a rushed, quick product because at that point, it's more of a concern about getting the product out as opposed to making the product that the company wants to make.
Hmm.
So I
And
think,
I
yeah,
always, I always, as I said, I come from Call of Duty background, and the example I thought while you were speaking was Call of Duty. It comes out every year on a dime, doesn't matter, it
yeah,
happens.
it's a good
And
example.
to say that the last few years they have not only admitted and gotten a lot of poor PR and a bad customer reviews about releasing unfinished products, but still meeting that deadline instead of pushing it back a month is like it just happened. Like for example, the new Call of Duty. If you played the if you played day one, you would know that the spawn sucked. Warzone wasn't a part of it. The campaign wasn't had a few glitches, and there's like a gazillion thousand things that needed to be fixed. There was server crashes and everything. Um, but if Activision or I guess Infinity Ward took an extra month to fix those things, I would have been very very happy. You know what I mean? Because from my point of view, when people are releasing unfinished products, now we have to make an exception. This is still an alpha, right? Um, but we're talking like a full release. If once full release hits, if they release an unfinished product in their eyes, uh, I don't know if they're really in it to make a good game anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why I definitely think right now with all this back end that they're doing, it's for quality. It's so you can justify putting something on Steam because again, Steam with some of these early access things, they are going to kind of promote you and like if anyone's looking at anything that you're putting out, they want to see somebody in going all the way up to tiers to the $60 version.
And
So
if that
that's
means
kind of the biggest thing, just quality.
yeah, so if that means they delayed it by 2 months, and it means the game is going to be a better version of an alpha, because in my mind I thought early access was going to be beta. Technically, it's not considered that yet. It's still going to be alpha, but beta should be coming very soon after, if that makes sense. If they plan on calling anything a beta, like early access, there should be a beta version of the game very after, and that's what they're trying to get to, I think. And if that means it takes an extra 2 months, then by all means, I'll do it. I'll wait very impatiently, of course. To get back on the back end, because there's only about 1,000 things, and we're actually doing very good on time. I don't think we're going to get everything done in this act at this point, at this rate. Um, so obviously, they're going to change the menu, going to change the HUD, make it look a bit better. They're going to make the map look better because that's just going to attract people, the visuals, right? And everyone knows that Paragon was the sexiest game out there at the time. Um, so that's really gonna that's gonna really change. I don't know if anyone's seen what the Alpha Paragon looks like compared to the finished version of the map, but if you have time, you should always do that. Or we did show a few videos last stream. Yeah, so there's that. There's also talks about a big raptor. I really hope it's not just them putting in Fangtooth. Like, okay, like they're just gonna take the three raptors away and just put in Fangtooth and be like, yeah, we're just the three raptors. Just there's too many issues with it. I hope it's like a raptor evolves into probably the animation of Fangtooth, but that's what I'm hoping. I hope they look into the passives a bit more. And what else do I want to see for EA? I want to see a skin released. I'm an Indiegogo backer. I paid the 120 Canadian dollars, or I think it's $100 if you're US, for that Indiegogo. I want to see my skin. You know what I mean? I want that skin, and if it's a tier 1 skin, I'm going to be pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I would imagine it's at least tier 2, if anything. I don't see this early on them having any
Oh, they might not have it right
new tier
away.
3s.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to have tier 3s right away. They take too long. They take a while. Tier 3s, yeah. They're a lot of work and a lot of money to make. So, what do you guys want to see from the back end, besides like map visuals? Do you guys want to see something like lane objectives? Like, is this a time where they're really coming in?
I mean, probably not. Like, I'd rather just see it
Would you rather, instead of them adding new
smoothed
stuff,
out.
you just want to see a more finished version first? A
Yeah,
more.
just a finished version, because again, it's still early access. So if they put out a patch once a month leading up to, let's say, January of next year, then
Mhm.
at least enough has changed, and like you can work out those different things, and they're going to have their own dev streams between now and then and see what people actually want. Like, to be able to just have a little more fleshed out and smooth of a game for early access, and then worry about actual like bouncing and game mechanics
Yeah,
more so towards full release. Personally, I
pers-
prefer that.
personally for me, I mean, here's the thing. I have played and enjoyed quite a few games in the past that did not look as good as Fault looks right now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, I mean, in terms of back end, early access, that kind of stuff, I just, I don't know. For me, sometimes it's just seeing some kind of sign of commitment to making this so much better than it is right now, and some kind of incentive to get on the bandwagon now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think this is the time. Now, full release is different, but this is the start of they got to make a push to really grow their people and take people outside of their Discord, outside of their Twitter to come and buy the game. And whatever, however that may be. There's a few ways. Yeah. So that's the topic of number 2. If anyone here has any opinions, disagrees with us, thinks we're idiots, thinks we have make some pretty good points, message it in the chat. For anyone that doesn't know, Act 1 we always do just us three, but Act 2 and 3 we move on and let the community come on in and talk in voice chat. As long as they're not toxic. If they get toxic, we're gonna have to close it. So I'm hoping that never happens. But if it does, I'm gonna cry. Uh, yeah. So now we're on to